Hi, this is Danny from Mysterious Things, where I take a mystery story and I try to find some insights into what happened. So today I'm going to do something a little different. And if you, like me, are obsessed with mystery stories, you can't get a better storyteller than Miss Bailey Sarian. Now Bailey she's got a YouTube channel called Murder, Mystery, and Makeup, where she tells of an interesting murder story while she does her makeup. Now, if you've been living under a rock and you haven't seen Bailey, I highly suggest that you go get yourself on over there and subscribe to her channel. In this hour-long video, Bailey goes deep into her story of an unsolved missing mother, daughter, and the daughter's friend. This happened on June 6th, 1992. So I've linked that video below in case you want to go deep into the weeds on this story and go listen to Bailey. What I'm going to do is give you a brief synopsis. Yeah, that reminds me of school and writing reports and all that kind of stuff. Blah. So how about a brief abstract? That's not much better. Okay, a brief recap of the story. And then I'll do a tarot reading on it, and then we'll see if we can find any clues. So I've noticed quite a few of you have been listening to my stories, but when you get to the tarot reading part, you stop. And I know this all may seem like heebie-jeebie, and it is only my personal opinion, but try being adventurous and going and listening to the reading, because sometimes there's so much information that's so interesting that comes up during those readings that gives you another maybe way to think about it or another clue. Anyway, just try it. What do you got to lose? So anyway, here it goes. This story happened on graduation night on June 6, 1992. And of course, with all good horror stories, there was a high school party. In fact, there were several parties going on that night. A bunch of students were going to Branson, Missouri that night, and then the next day they'd go to Whitewater Island theme water park that was near there. So these two friends, Stacy McCall and Susie Streeter, they were going to go with a group to Branson. And Branson is about less than an hour away from where they were, so it wasn't that far. So they were going to go up there, and they decided they'd stop at some parties before they went. And one of these parties was at another friend's house whose name was Janelle. Well, they thought they could party hard at Janelle's and maybe they'd just stay the night there and go to Branson the next day. So the party was really crowded and there just wasn't enough room at Janelle's for them to stay the night there. So they decided they'd go on back to Susie's house since her mom Cheryl would be home, and then the teens could go together to Branson the next day. So at 8 a.m., Janelle, who's ready to go the next morning, calls Susie's house, but there wasn't an answer. And that was back before there were cell phones, you know. So they decided they'd just drive over there. Janelle and her boyfriend did. So they drove over to Susie's house to pick up the two girls. They figured they'd just bump them out of bed and they'd all be on their way. When they got there, they said all the cars were in the driveway. The front door was unlocked. The dog was there. The TV was on. The purses and makeup and jewelry from all three women were sitting there. But there were no humans in the house. There was no one home. So they didn't know what to do. The phone rang then, and they picked it, and Janelle said she picked it up. And she said it was some weird guy on the other end making sexual innuendos, and it creeped her out, and she hung up. And immediately they called back. She picked up the phone. It happened again. She hung up. They didn't really know what had happened to the girls. They thought maybe they were just gone. Maybe they'd gone with someone else. So Janelle and her boyfriend got in the car. They went to the water park. They decided maybe they would, the girls were already up there, and they'd just meet them there. That afternoon, Stacy's mom, Janice, hadn't heard from her daughter and had been calling around to find out kind of what was going on, where the kids were. When Janelle and her boyfriend got home from the water park, they connected, and the three of them decided to go over to Cheryl's house and see if they could find out why they weren't where they said they were going to be all day. When they went over there, there was still no one there. So they went inside and looked around. So the scene was concerning. Each of the women had a car, but all three cars were still parked outside, and their purses were there. Now, Cheryl and Susie were smokers, but they'd left their cigarettes behind. And Stacy had migraines, and she carried her migraine medication with her wherever she went, but it was still in her bag. But there was no sign of a struggle. The closest neighbors came over and wandered around the house a bit while waiting, and they swept up some glass from the broken porch light cover, cleaning up a possible crime scene. I guess this was before CSI came on television and taught us not to mess with the crime scenes. Anyway, they did. Stacy, Susie, and Susie's mom, Cheryl, they were never seen again. They were declared dead in 1997, and the case has remained unsolved. So were there suspects? Actually, there were several, but none that the police could pin directly to the disappearance of the three women. And were there any clues? Well, there was a green van that the neighbors said hadn't been in the neighborhood much, but it would have been parked outside. And there was one eyewitness. There was a waitress at George's Steakhouse, which is one of Cheryl's favorite restaurants. And she said that early in the morning of June 7th, so that would have been late on the night of June 6th, the night that they went over to Cheryl's house, that all three of them had come into the steakhouse. And they arrived together, and they said Susie, Cheryl's daughter Susie, seemed a little off. She was giddy and laughing and maybe a little drunk. Her mom tried to calm her down. But really, other than that, a few odds and bits here and there, the police were never able to find out where the women went, how they went, or what happened to them. There is still a $42,000 reward. Contact details for the Springfield Police Department are listed below. If you have any information, no matter how trivial, please let them know. This is nearly a 30-year-old case. It is very cold. And, but somebody must know something. Again, the mantra here, somebody must know something. So what happened to the Springfield 3? Let's ask the cards. Okay, let's ask the cards. And be sure to watch it this time. Why wouldn't you? Okay, today I'm using the Steampunk Tarot, illustrated by Allie Fell. It is a Barbara Moore, another beautiful Barbara Moore deck of cards. Excuse me while I get a little sip of water. I'm still monkeying around with angles to try to get so that you can see everything I'm doing here. Today we want to find out about the Springfield 3. Tell me a little bit about the Springfield 3. What happened to them? What happened to the Springfield 3? Now we're trying to find out what happened to these 3 women that were disappeared, basically, from their home on June 6th, 1992. If you haven't seen me do cards before, or you've quit after the story and haven't gotten around to taking a look at what the cards do, I do 3 cards about before the event, 3 cards about the event itself, and 3 cards after the event. Those are before the event. Now we're going to do of the event. Sorry, I dropped a whole bunch. Of the event. Tell me of the event, the missing girls. Okay. Ooh, that gave me a whole handful. So we'll take them. This is about the event. And now we need 3 cards for after the event, the aftermath. Okay, a lot of reverse cards here, and it gave me these. Okay, there's a lot of information here. Let's see how it turns out. Really doesn't matter what order those are in, just as long as they all get seen. Okay? Okay, so here we go. We start out here with the 7 of Wands. That is someone who's indecisive, not really gung-ho, kind of hesitant, and we'll see what else comes from that. The next one is the 5 of Pentacles reversed, and this is the loss of money. Just a reminder, the first 3 cards are what happened before the event. So there was someone who was hesitant. There was some loss of money, although they didn't take any money out of these women's purse. This person who dealt with them felt like they were, whoever they were targeting, owed them something, owed them some money or some property or something. The 3rd card is Temperance reversed. And this person had a lack of patience. They weren't waiting around anymore. They'd probably maybe gone over to threaten them. I'm getting the feeling that this was Cheryl, that the target was Cheryl. The kids probably were just a wrong place, wrong time. This Temperance card shows a lack of patience and some poor decision making. And this person was brewing all this in their brain. They didn't really have a whole lot of confidence. They weren't really confrontational. They thought that Cheryl owed them something, and they didn't know how to make this situation right. They didn't have any patience. They were lacking patience. So that's what happened before the event. Now, of the event, of the actual abduction or whatever happened to these women, the first thing we come up with is the 6 of Pentacles. Now the Six of Pentacles, you can see right here, is the mother and 2 children. She's trying to balance the scales. So whatever it is, she was the target trying to make things balance. They were caught up in it, and they weren't really the targets of this. The next is the Seven of Pentacles reversed. There's the Seven of Pentacles it's about business. Someone looking at their finances and their business, but this is reversed. So the business was not going like it should. So that whatever this money situation that she was trying to balance out here had not gone the way this person thought it should be going. And they were getting frustrated. On dealing with her, they thought they'd go over and confront her. And things got out of control, and this is what's happening. Here is the Four of Pentacles reversed. And you can see it this way, someone putting money in the bank, and here is somebody taking it out. So that's a loss due to some conflict over something, money, some material thing, home, business, that type of thing. The next is the King of Cups reversed. There he is upright, and there he is reversed. This guy's manipulative. He's trying to use emotional control to manipulate the situation, and he has her and her children trying to get whatever he wants out of her. He's trying to manipulate it because he's got all 3 of them under his control. But this card is the Devil, the next card, and it's reversed. Someone had made wrong choices to put them all in harm's way. I think that's Cheryl. She's made some really bad decisions, and she has this person trying to manipulate her. And maybe she's doing the best she can to balance it out, but it's not fast enough for this person. And this is what's happened. The wrong choices put them all in trouble, in harm's way. And in the end of that, here is the Four of Wands. That's someone celebrating. But on this, I'd say in a reverse situation, this person celebrating was gloating over their win. So whatever it is they thought they got from this situation with Cheryl, it's like, okay, well, she got hers then. She screwed me over here, and I got her back. So that's kind of what was happening with what the abduction was, what was going on with them. The kids were collateral damage, just wrong place, wrong time. Now, in the aftermath, the first card we have are the Lovers, which again is reversed. So this is someone that they knew, or someone that Cheryl knew, and they were now had turned on her. So it was this relationship. It could have been personal, it could have been business, but whoever that was turned on her. So I'd looked in her personal life and in her business life to see where she was having some sort of issue with money or material things. The next card is the Ace of Wands reversed. Ace of Wands is a growth card, but reversed. I'd say this person that did this had a mental illness. This mental illness prevents them from dealing with their feelings in constructive ways. So even though they are even though they thought getting Cheryl to do what, even though I'm going to say he, thought he could get Cheryl to do what he wanted, and did get her to do something that whatever that would bring him power or money or whatever. That inability to be creative hasn't produced the results he wanted. So he got what he wanted, but it actually didn't, he wasn't able to do with it, to make anything out of it. Then we have the Nine of Swords. Failure, cruelty, violence, deceit. This person here that got everything they wanted through their failure and their cruelty and their violence is now isolated. That I'm feeling that this person might already be in prison for something else. Let's see what the next cards are. Next one is the Fool reversed. Someone who's never learned that actions have consequences. I think his mental state leaves him really oblivious to the outside world. I think he lives in a world all of his own, almost like he doesn't even remember what he did with or to those women. The last one here. Oh, second to last. This is the Two of Wands reverse. A lot of reverse cards. Negative energy in this reading. Just gives me the willies. The Two of Wands. I think he got a little bit too big for his britches and committed another act of aggression somehow. And this time he got caught and he's behind bars, or he's in a mental institution. He's somewhere locked up. He's locked up. Okay. And the last one is the Wheel of Fortune, and that is right side up. And the Wheel of Fortune represents luck. I think that for all this guy's blunders and missteps, he hasn't been connected to this crime, and it's only by luck, not by any guile that this is true. He's had no control over the situation. They either just missed the clues or he wasn't on their radar for some reason. If he is identified, it'll be the same way. A lucky guess, a lucky break. But so far, this isn't in the cards. This being a 30-year-old case, it would be just a extremely lucky coincidence that they would find anything that would link this guy to these disappearances, and he may not even remember that he was involved with them. He might not even remember them. He's very out of touch. I didn't see anything about where they were. I might pull just a couple more cards on that. Let's try one more. The Eight of Wands, upside down. The Eight of Wands is information that's coming to people. That's a way I read the Eight of Wands anyway. The information that's coming to someone. But in reverse, I think maybe I should have asked the question better. This still has to do with the impulsive energy around what happened. And the next card is the Towers. You know, obviously that's the event. And there has been some information that came through about these women being buried under where they built a hospital. And I kind of discounted that because the hospital was built a year after they disappeared. They've done some preliminary digging around that, but they're not going to dig up a whole hospital to find out if they were under there. But this tower, this big, heavy building, that's very interesting. They could be there. They really could be. Very interesting. And the last card I'm going to pull on this is the Three of Wands. Let me see if you can see him. See the ships behind him. The lights, the three lights. The three lights of the three women. And they're looking far away. Patience. Maybe somewhere near water, somewhere where there are boats, somewhere these lights shine. And this man is looking at it through like a telescope. So I'm saying, if they look somewhere near water, if they have persistence and patience in combing back through these clues, the ladies are there. They're there shining a light on the answers to all of these questions. I guess I'm going to end the reading there. I think that gave us an idea of what, at least what happened. I think that gives us an idea of what happened. I think that the women are still trying to contact us. The man is completely out of it, mentally and physically. And there are still clues that have been missed that could bring something to light if it was put under a microscope. So, you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Please like and share, and try out some of the other videos that I've got. There are a ton of videos up there now. Check them all out, see if one interests you, and watch it clear to the end because the cards are the best part. We have jewelry today. I have a chakra necklace made out of stone. That was beautiful that I was wearing. And I also have 3 tarot card necklaces here. One, death and rebirth. One, the sun. And the third is the moon. So if you're interested in those, please check out my Etsy shop. The link will be down below. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.